Coming up, we'll be talking about War Machine being in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We'll be talking about the Golden Globe nominations. We're going to be talking about a new Disney streaming bundle and much more. But before we get into any of that, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on DisneyPlus.com. It's Wednesday, it's time to jump into some of today's Disney Plus news. So let's start off with the big one. Looks like we're going to be seeing War Machine in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series because Don Cheadle has appeared on a podcast this weekend, the Bro Bible's post-credit podcast, where he confirmed that he will be appearing in the show. He said, "That's some of the fun of the MCU, that we all get to show up in each other's stories, and there are ways that we're cross-platforming these characters and they become storylines sometimes in the movies, and then these stories in the movies become storylines in the shows. It's a fun and interesting and by all imaginations completely open-ended. This can go anywhere. It's great. I can't wait to get in the room with the writers and come up with how all those things, which are connecting to the Armored Wars series in the MCU, will happen. You know, Rhodey shows up in the Winter Soldier and Falcon show, so it can be a lot." He also confirmed in the podcast they're going to be starting to write the new Marvel Studios series Armor Wars soon. They kind of want to see how they can all connect it up with the MCU, the shows and stuff, and how they can bridge it all. I think this is definitely a fantastic thing with the series. Bringing characters in from the movies, even if it's just for a brief cameo, can really help kind of connect it to the larger MCU. Something that we didn't see with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and like the Daredevil shows and all that. They were kind of off on their own thing. And we're seeing much more connection between them all. And that's exactly what we want. It's kind of one of those things that people kind of maybe saying, well, it's a bit spoilish telling us that he's going to be in it. But this is the actor himself saying he's in it, so that's not really something we can sort of say about that. There are some other reports coming out recently that WandaVision is also going to have a really big kind of special moment like we saw with Luke Skywalker in the Mandalorian Season 2. We don't yet know what it is. Got a few thoughts, but I don't want to go too much into that one there. I think it might have something to do with the upcoming movie that Scarlet Witch is in, if you know what I mean. But let's move on from there. Now let's talk about Soul. If you happen to be in the mood for having physical media still and you don't want to be completely reliant on Disney Plus, we've got some good news for you. Disney is going to be releasing Soul on physical media and also digital media, including 4K, Blu-ray and DVDs, and there'll also be a digital version. This will be coming out on March the 23rd. This is interesting to see why they're doing this. It kind of slides into the same thing they did with Mulan, where they kind of released it extra on the side. I think they would obviously do the same with Raya and the Last Dragon. They want to make sure they get a lot more money from their bang, from their buck, because they've spent a lot of money on those movies and they want to try and recoup as much of it as possible. Because the trouble is, Mulan and also Soul really don't kind of come under the kind of Disney Plus original that wasn't planned for that. So therefore the budgets were much higher, and I think they know that people would be interested in having the physical version of that movie. And it would have been coming out around now anyway, because of had it come out in the cinemas in November. So it kind of makes sense why they're doing this. But yes, if you're into your physical media, it's good news for you. I don't think they're going to be releasing all of the Disney Plus originals. I think it's just some of these movies that they know would have been a big hit. And yeah, so great news if you are a collector. The Super Bowl is coming up this week, and there's some two teams playing each other. I don't know what's going on. But the main thing I always like about the Super Bowl is that you get loads of trailers. This year one might be a bit different because there's not as many big blockbusters. A lot of companies are advertising. But apparently Disney have got 2 to 4 trailers that are going to be running for it. They're keeping things very close to their chest, what they're going to be showing. I wouldn't be at all surprised if there is like a Disney Plus one, kind of trying to get people in for the different shows. Maybe Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that would make a lot of sense. Potentially one for Raya. And maybe we could even get a hint of what's going on with Black Widow, whether or not they are going to do it to Premier Access. But the idea, I don't think, is that they're going to use it there. They kind of want to push stuff that they know is coming, rather than kind of showing a whole load of movies that are going to be, you know, if they get delayed or anything else. So they might want to keep things pretty close. But yeah, so we are going to be expecting to see some trailers from Disney, and especially from the Disney Plus side at the Super Bowl. If you haven't already done so, Disney have now launched a brand new streaming bundle in the US for ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and also Hulu without the ads. So that's the main thing. If you don't like the ads on Hulu, this new bundle is available, priced at $18.99. So yeah, you get the full package of everything that they've got, but they've kind of definitely been listening to feedback from people not wanting to have the ad version of Hulu. So there you go. So that's the price if you haven't already done so. If you play the video game Fortnite, some good news. There's been a brand new game mode added featuring the Mandalorian. It's only going to be available until about the 9th of February. And if you do you kind of manage to get enough points, you can get a special umbrella, and so when you come flying in after you jump off the battle bus, that's how you can kind of come down, so that'll look pretty cool. I got the Razor Crest because I brought the pack, so I don't really see why I would want it, but nevertheless, a fun mode to jump in, especially if you like Fortnite, and they're just going to continue to add all of this new content. They've been adding so much in this battle pass. We've seen the Terminator, we've seen God of War, we've seen all kinds of stuff, so it's nice to see them doing it, but this will be a limited time mode that you'll want to jump in now if you're enjoying that game. And finally, it's kind of award season now, and we've had tons of nominations announced for Disney Plus shows, along with other shows that will be on other networks such as ABC and Hulu, which ultimately will end up coming to Disney Plus internationally as part of Star. But let's talk about now the Disney Plus originals. The Golden Globes recently just wrapped up what their nominations just a couple of hours as a point of recording. Disney Plus picked up 5 nominations, 2 for Soul, 2 for Hamilton, and 1 for The Mandalorian. So those are the big ones that everyone's looking at. Disney also got a lot of nominees at the NAACP Awards, including 11 nominations for Soul. This one is obviously very important in terms of diversity, and yeah, Hamilton and Soul were 2 big ones. Also Blackish from ABC was also a massive show there, picking up loads and loads of nominations. There was also the Kids' Choice Awards, which was a little bit more widespread. There's actually a lot more Disney Plus content in the Kids Awards from Nickelodeon, because you've got the High School Musical, the series. There's a number of nominations in for that one. Mulan also got nominated, and I just think as a whole, and even the Phileas and Ferb movie got nominated for Best Animation. So there's a lot more of what kids are watching, and therefore you can vote on that one as well online. So I think that one's very different from the ones that get picked by the peers. Personally, I always like the fan ones. I always think they're much more interesting, because that's kind of what people are really watching, rather than sort of critics and stuff. So we've got lots of nominations. I expect some more to be coming pretty soon, because of that time of the year where all this goes on. But it's nice to see Disney Plus picking up a lot of nominations. It's also, I find, one of those things with the way that Disney kind of have all their nominations. You know, you have like Hulu got this many, Disney Plus gets this many, ABC gets this, FX. So while they don't look a lot on paper, when you put them all together, you know, when Netflix comes out and says we got this many nominations, if you put the whole of Disney together, they did get a lot. It's just they spread them out a lot more. But it's always great to see great content, and that's what we'd like to see. We want great content on Disney Plus, and it's nice to see, you know, the creators getting recognition for that. But nevertheless, let me know what you think of all of this in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. Also, a huge thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and also on our YouTube channel memberships. And I shall see you guys in another video. Laters.